All right, I'm recording now. Sorry about that, everyone. My computer actually froze out. So let's present again. So welcome everyone to the information session about evaluation surveys and tests. This will take about 10 to 15 minutes and it will cover a little bit about my evaluation surveys. So what are the evaluation surveys? We have two evaluation surveys currently, the Scratch evaluation survey and the Python one. And both of these are 20-question surveys that range from about 5 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on your ability to answer these questions. And then at the end, you will be able to take a look at what questions you got wrong, what questions you got right, and whether or not you'll be able to be recommended to the next course. So students will place in different classes depending on how they scored. And you can see here on the right, I have both the confirmation messages for the Scratch one on the bottom and the Python one on the top. So say, for example, you score an 11, which is pretty good for the Python course and also for the Scratch one. So in both cases, you would be recommended to take the current course you're being tested for. So in Python's case, Python 003, and for Scratch 001. And maybe you score a perfect 20, and that's really good. And then you would be able to move on to the next course, Java 005 or Scratch 002. So this kind of evaluation surveys aims to help students be able to choose which course they want. So we've noticed that a lot of students, when they join the class, they do drop out and then change courses because they feel like it's not suited for them, it's too easy, it's too hard. So that's why I've created these evaluation surveys to kind of help these students and parents along on this journey. So future plans for our surveys. First thing we want to do is a Java evaluation survey. And so what this means is that instead of just testing for Scratch or Python, you can test also for Java. And of course, all of the links to all the surveys will be in our TTK Tests website down the bottom if you do want to check it out. But so the Java evaluation survey will be exactly the same as the Scratch and Python one, except with Java content. And so this, we felt like this was necessary considering the differences between Java and Python and Scratch, and also the recent additions of Scratch AI. Next, we plan to have an evaluation survey for every single class. And this doesn't just mean 000 to 005. So maybe we do have a test for each of those, but we also want to test for the other ones. So for example, maybe we want one for Arduino, so an Arduino evaluation survey. Or maybe we want one for HTML or web development. So those are all on our agenda. And the Java evaluation survey will actually be out in the beginning of October, and it should appear on the website soon. And for every other class, they will appear sometime next year. And another thing we've been kind of experimenting with is shorter/longer surveys. So right now, our surveys are capped at 20 questions, and the student is able to answer either answer all the questions or they can even leave some blank. So what we plan to do in the future is to have a shorter and a longer survey. So for example, maybe 10 questions or 30 questions as well. And then it can be a little bit more flexible to the parents and the students while doing this survey. Okay. So the link on the bottom is kind of our TTK test. Okay. The link on the bottom is kind of our TTK test, the ThinkLand platform. So it's actually right here. If you can see my screen change. This is kind of our main page for TTK coding tests. So if you do scroll down, all of the QR codes and links are down below. So 000 Scratch Junior, Scratch AI, Python, and Java. So those are our full tests. and you can see our placement tests here. So our full tests are intended to be at the end of the course, contrary to our evaluation surveys, which are supposed to be done anytime before a course starts. So each of these full courses lasts about 1 to 2 hours to take, and it's a total of 70 points in total. So there will actually be 4 sections to these tests, each of which has the student be tested in a different subject area. So for example, we have a debugging section where the student takes a look at a piece of code and then lists everything wrong about that code. And we also have a creation section, which allows our students to create their own code based on our instructions and then upload a file of their screenshot. So each of these tests really are meant to be final kind of evaluations for the students after they have taken the test, after all the sessions of this course. So after all the 3 sessions of Scratch, they would take this test and then move on. So they would take it in the middle of Scratch. So so each of these evaluation surveys, I strongly encourage you to push to students in your courses, push to parents that you might know that want to take this and are feeling unsure. And this is mainly because first, we want our students to be able to know exactly which course they can take. And second, we need a little bit more data on responses for each of these tests, just so we can have a more accurate representation of how many points would equal going to the next level. And so if any of you are confused on getting to this page, we will go to the homepage of AGO Learning right here, and then move all the way to our impact. And then you can see all of our impacts here: demo days, hackathons, clubs, but we also have coding tests. And that's where we can see our coding tests and all of our tests here. So right now, there isn't much, admit, just 5 tests and 2 placement tests. But I really do think these tests can expand a lot more, and I do want your help. So if you really feel like you want to help on this endeavor, this TTK test, maybe creating, maybe editing, maybe just maybe polishing, please feel free to reach out to me at daniels@aglearning.org or DM me on Discord. Okay, so if you feel like you want to kind of help in this project, please feel free to do so. And each of these tests, finally, I really do want to reiterate one more time. Each of these tests, I highly recommend you to use in your classes. Maybe you can take questions from there and use it in your class. So say, for example, we have our evaluation survey and you want to use one of these questions. What if I wanted to run code in another sprite that's caused by an action occurring in the current sprite? So you can actually use this question, maybe reword it, and give it to your students. And that way it can maybe help you along. So it's just about the end of our short information session here. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to email me at daniels@aglearning.org, just to take us one more time, or DM me on Discord. You guys can find me just by maybe mentioning me in chat and then messaging me by right-clicking, right? Or just scrolling down the right-hand section. Okay. So if you do have any questions, I recommend you just speak out now. But if you guys don't, then I'll be ending the information session. All right, looks like there's a question in chat. Yep. So there will be a recording available, and I'll have Mike Liu post it in the announcements page as soon as possible. So Yep, there will be a recording. And of course, if you do have any other questions after this session, you can email me or DM me on Discord. All right. Looks like there aren't that many questions. All right. So I'll actually stop the share and